So we all know that the biggest opportunities exist when markets are correcting, or as some may call it, crashing, or when there's a lot of emotion in the marketplace. Now, we as DeFi business owners or liquidity providers, we get paid a lot off the fees that are happening, but also as crypto investors, we need to know, when do we buy? When do we sit on our hands? Or is it time to sell? In today's video, I want to walk you through my 3-step process. I only ask myself 3 questions, and the answers to those questions really quickly gives me clarity as to what should I do. Because again, you only really have 3 options. You sell, you buy more, or you do nothing. So I'm really excited for that. By the way, if you're in the UIG, do check out the live that I did yesterday. It's a little longer at 45 minutes, but it's going to walk you through not just what we're covering in this video, but also more on the emotional and the mindset side of things. I think a lot of people are lacking that piece of it. And although they may know the checklist of what to do in a market correction, they still don't do it. Like, how many people know what to do to improve their lives, yet they still don't do it? So much of it is internal. So do check out this live. It's just in the main community, and it was posted on the 25th, February 25th. So let's get into it. As we know, as of this recording, Bitcoin's at 86,000. ETH is at 2,400. SUI is at just under $3. And there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of like, what do I do now? And so I want to walk you through my process. I actually created a really quick little Google Doc here so we can kind of follow it. First thing I ask is, why is this happening? On the live I was doing in the Underdog Investor Group, which if you're not a member yet, please do it. You'll get live updates, and you can actually chat with a community that are investors, not gamblers, real time through different market conditions. But I always ask myself, why is this happening? By the way, ChatGPT, if you just type in, hey, what is actually happening to cause this correction or this crash? It'll give you a bunch of information with links to the source, so you can kind of get clarity. We want to zoom out. Every time I have a major conflict or major problem in my life, well, the old me used to just dive in and get emotionally involved in it. The new me, as of probably a decade ago, and where I really started building kind of wealth and financial freedom and financial success and just a lot of success in my life, steps out. First thing I do, I step out, I get clarity, I get elevation. And I always ask myself, why is this happening? What are the underlying factors? What is happening on a macroeconomic? What's happening? Policy related, this, that. And to me, it's kind of like if you're in a pitch black room and you don't know where you are and you're hearing some weird little noise, you're going to freak out probably. It's going to be hard to remain clear and calm. And if you just turn the light switch on, you'll just get clarity. You'll say, oh, I'm in an office, okay, and that little noise is some, I don't know, little hamster running on a wheel. It's not some, crazy murderer who's out to kill me. We always revert to worst case scenario. If we are lacking clarity, if we're in a dark room, if we are in the fog, we're always just going to revert to worst case scenario. That is millions of years of human evolution. We're fighting for our survival. Now with the markets, no one has a gun to our head, but our financial freedom, our financial security, our finances are on the line, and finances equal security and equal survival. So of course we freak out. So the first thing I do is ask, why is this happening? I'm going to go through why the markets are correcting right now in a second here. I'm going to give you a few bullet points here that I pulled up. 2, I ask myself, where in the cycle are we? Highly recommend you just screenshot this and save it somewhere. And every time you're like, oh my God, just think through this, have a peek at this, right? So in this cycle, we're in a bit of an accumulation. There's a bit of a trend emerging. There's a reversal of the trend. All of a sudden, everyone's thinking we're bullish, and everyone's saying, hey, we're back in a bull market. Let's celebrate that, because a little while ago we entered that. There's a bit of an early shakeout. Momentum keeps building. And there's usually the first sentiment extreme, and there's a massive bear trap. This happens in almost every bull market. Now, again, we can't predict exactly what's going to happen, but patterns repeat themselves. So for my analysis, at least as of like February 25th, as of the recording of this video, this is a bear trap. By the way, I could see Bitcoin, go into the 70s, mid 70s, even low 70s. It doesn't worry me. This is repeatable. It's just a beautiful opportunity to buy more, accumulate more, or use the profits from your DeFi portfolio and the cash flow and your lending positions to just buy more. Then, and if you've been through any of these cycles, usually this happens. It kind of shakes out the weak hands or the people who are newer to the market. Then there's this renewed optimism. And when there's FOMO and mass euphoria. It's wild ride when that happens. Let me know in the comments if you've been through one of those cycles. It's crazy. We have not experienced that yet. I think we experienced this kind of first, a lot of excitement, a lot of stuff around the elections, a lot of stuff around different policy and crypto-friendly administration. But that was all very logical. We're not in euphoria. This is stuff's going crazy. This is when I'm like selling everything, locking in massive profits. So in my mind, we're in a bit of a bear trap. Now remember, there is a bull trap. From my analysis, I don't feel like we're in one. You may think differently and you'll make different decisions than me. But why is this happening? Where in the cycle are we? And then 3, has anything fundamentally changed, or is all this just noise? Am I still on track to hit my long-term investing goals and targets? If the answer is yes, I continue as usual, which usually means I do nothing for a bit as I wait for prices to stabilize, or I buy more, never in one big chunk. I don't deploy all of my profits at once. A dollar cost average into this kind of stuff. So this morning I was able to scoop up a little more BTC, a little more ETH. I did add a little SUI, and I'm just holding on the Sol, not because I don't think it'll go back. I just need to do a little deeper research into Sol. Although I own a bunch of it, there I'm doing nothing, but I'll probably deploy maybe 10 or 15% of earmarked profits for a little bit more Sol as well. And back to the question of why is this happening? Tell me how you feel. So on my live, I asked hundreds of investors who were, emotionally reacting to the markets, hey, do you guys know why this is happening? And very few people knew why. Of course, we're going to be emotional about it. Here's what's happening. Trade policies. Obviously, tariffs on Canada and Mexico create economic uncertainty. Crypto's always going to suffer for that. The stock market is suffering for that. This isn't like a crypto-specific correction or crash. People see the 25% tariffs, of course. Money moves into safer bets or cash. So that's a huge one. That's a huge catalyst for what we're seeing. Inflation, interest rates. So fear surrounding rising inflation and the possibility of increased interest rates by the Fed have further dampened investor enthusiasm. Bam. We all know the Bybit exchange hack. There was 1.5 billion worth of ETH hacked. And of course, every time that happens, again, in the comments, let me know if you've been through a few of these. Every time there's a really big event like that, there's always a bit of a correction. So all of this has kind of happened at the same time, and it brought the markets down. Capital exited the markets. And then this always happens, by the way. The Trump administration came in, pro-crypto, Bitcoin conference, etc. But not much has been done to back that up. And so people kind of start losing a little interest and they get a little frustrated and they start reassessing, how bullish was I and should I have been this bullish? And so we see a bit of a pullback on that front. Obviously, altcoins suffered because of it, and so more liquidity is removed. And then just overall sentiment. I'm in the markets every day. I'm part of a community. I'm part of multiple communities, and I talk about this stuff all the time. And so my ear is kind of to the ground, and a lot of people are kind of like, I'm not as excited about it as I was a month ago because most people are gambling. They're not investors. I'm more excited than I ever have been, but most people aren't. Right? There's no massive headlines and there's no massive articles and there's no one talking about Bitcoin hitting $250,000. And so people just lose a little bit of interest. And so the markets always kind of settle down. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. And fear and greed index is at 26, which totally makes sense. There's more fear in the markets. Things pull back. To me, the lower this goes, the more bullish I get and the higher it goes. The more, hey, I should risk off some of this. I should lock in some profits so I can capitalize. The market's just so predictable. Really, really hope that helps. So again, remember, why is this happening? Where in the cycle are we? Screenshot this. And 3, has anything fundamentally changed, or is all this just noise? Am I still on track to hit my investing targets? Before you do anything too crazy emotional, think through those points, zoom out, and make decisions from that place. Really, really hope this served. I also recommend maybe spend 2 hours on this YouTube channel, study up, check out some videos, subscribe to this channel, check out our free DeFi course, and we have our 2025 Underdog Investor event coming. It's a live in-person 2 days or 3 days if you're in the VIP, where 100 of us are gathering for the event where the community comes together. We talk crypto, we talk DeFi, we talk a lot of the internal work, connecting with high-level investors, community. June 21st and 22nd, VIP day is on the 20th. Would love to see you here. If you do want some details on the event, just do let me know in the comments below. Happy to zap you a link. With that said, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you in the next. Peace.